This is Trisha. She's been told she looks like Connie Stevens. We showed her videotapes of these three single men, and she picked one as her date. Which one did she choose? Which one will our audience choose? And this is David, who says that women are easy to get along with, but hard to understand. Which one of these women did he choose? Which one will our audience choose? Today on Love Connection, you'll find out who they picked, who the audience picks, and everything that happened on their dates. Now, here to tell us more about Love Connection is our host, Chuck Woolery.
You know, there are more than 60 million single adults in the United States, so here on Love Connections, we've got a new way for singles to meet, and here's how it works. We've compiled a video library of hundreds of attractive and available single people. We then select some of those singles and show them 3 videotapes. After they watch the tapes, they choose the one they're most attracted to and go out on a date. Then they come here and tell us what happened on the date. Now, to begin with, we're going to meet a woman who selected a date from our video library. She was raised in Pittsburgh. She likes men who wear cologne and 3-piece suits. And she says nothing embarrasses her. Please welcome Trisha Morris. Hi, Trisha.
Hi, John. I'm really fine. How are you?
Fine. You sit down. Nothing?
Thank you.
Trisha, nothing embarrasses you?
Nothing embarrasses me, Chuck.
Now, you own a limousine service, is that right?
Yes, I do.
And you meet a lot of men through your work?
I meet a lot of men no matter what I do or where I go. I do a lot of traveling also, so...
How do foreign men compare to American men?
Well,
Tell the
it's
truth
like
now.
this, Chuck.
Okay.
I couldn't wait until I got to Europe because, you know, you watch all these movies and, you know, you see about all this romance.
Sure, yeah.
The European men just
Yeah.
seems to have so much more savoir-faire, right? Well, I want to tell you something. After being there and checking out the attitude and the consciousness of the European men, I'll take an American man any day.
What a girl. Based on Trisha's preferences, she was shown videotapes and questionnaires of 3 men. Now, we're going to show you a portion of the tapes that she saw, and you in the audience and at home, too, watch very closely because we're going to ask you to pick the man that you think is best for Trisha, okay? First, there was David. David's from Northern California. He likes to sing, roller skate, and ski, and here's what else he likes.
I love my feet being massaged, and I love to share acupressure and talk, and I love to spend time on the beach doing things that are physical, intellectual.
Next was Dwayne. He was raised in Africa. He has a brown belt in karate, and he tells us what kind of women he likes.
Let's say the stereotype, real beautiful blonde with a perfect figure, you know, you're thinking about a 10. That's nice. But I think the main thing is the girl is just attractive and, you know, attractive enough so that you aren't embarrassed to be with her.
And finally, you watched Warren. Now, he was raised in New York. He says he's not interested in anyone with children. And here's how he approaches women.
I'm very friendly. I'm very open. If I see someone I would like to meet, I like to approach them and talk about myself, talk about her, let her know that I find her attractive and interesting, and I'm single and would like to meet you.
Okay, now, Trisha chose one of those men as her date, and before she tells us which one she chose, let's see all 3 of them again, okay? First, there was David. He's a 41-year-old acupuncturist. And then Dwayne, he's a publisher, and he's 41 also. Finally, Warren, he's 39, and he's a clothing buyer. Okay, audience, time for your voting machines. You've met Trisha. You've seen her choices. Who do you think is best for Trisha? Here in the studio and at home, too, please make your choice right now. Okay? We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to find out who Trisha selected, and we're going to find out everything that happened on their date. You hang in there. In a little while, we're going to find out who the audience picked, but right now we're going to find out who Trisha selected. Trisha, who did you select?
David.
David, she growls. Okay, now on Love Connections, we get both sides of the story. We ask our couples not to speak to each other after their date, and we keep them apart so they'll be less inhibited about telling their story. Now, David is backstage. We want to say hello to David Nickel. Hey, David.
Hi, Chuck. How are you?
You're fine. Yeah, David, I'm going to come back to you in just a second. Trisha, why did you pick David?
He has such fantastic energy. I'm talking about energy that where voices connect over the telephone. I mean, it was immediate.
Okay. I believe it. I mean, she's really... David.
I feel exactly the same way.
I could tell. I just had a feeling you were going to say that. What was your first impression when you
First, I was
saw her?
wandering around the airport. Okay,
What?
she paid for my way to Palm Springs. I was wandering around the airport, and where is she? And all at once, this limo drove up, and there was this blonde, and I went, no, it can't be. She got out, and it was just like that. I couldn't keep my hands off of her.
That's why I put her in the back of the limo.
Right. Tell me about your date.
Well, as David already told you, I flew him to Palm Springs because I was doing a charity event there, tennis tournament. So I flew him in, met him at the airport in the limousine. Then we went to the tennis tournament. And just as we were getting out of the limo, David said to me, Trisha, I want you to know that I'm open to anyone being healed with my services. David's an acupuncturist. The MC of the tennis tournament was Ron Masak, and he's sitting there with a big bandage on his knees and crutches and so forth and so on. And David said, someone else said, David's here to heal you.
Did it work?
It worked. He's sitting there with needles up and down his legs, and David's doing his little acupressure, and it was wonderful. Well, within 2 minutes, like a magnet, all of the celebrities, all of the pros, one with a shoulder, one with a knee. David became kind of the star of the whole thing.
Now, what happened after this, though, after this whole thing?
Then they had a little party for us, and then it was time to go back to L.A., so I put him in the back of the limo with a basket of grapes, and drove around Palm Springs a little bit, and then we headed back to L.A. And he was feeding me grapes on the way back because there was a little left over from the morning breakfast.
She was just so open and ready to experience some of the things that I wanted to offer her while she was driving. You should try to feed someone grapes.
You guys.
You try to feed someone grapes that's driving in a limo. You know, just come around and wow, I had a little hard time getting my finger out of her mouth. That's okay. Chuck, I want you to know I'm having a hard time sitting back here waiting.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay, then let's get it over with. Let's find out who the audience picked, okay? Quickly. Let's right over here. Warren, with how many, what is it, 47%? 47%. How disappointing. I guess. Of course, I got to say this to you. We'll pick up the tab if you want to go out with Warren.
Oh, no way.
You want to go with David?
I paid for 20 days with David.
All right.
Yeah? David, get out here. She wants to see you now. There he goes. Sit down here on my couch for a minute.
Oh, nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too, David. Yeah, well, good. Everything's going great for you, and even though the audience didn't pick you, I can see you guys are just really like each other.
You know, because of the love connection in her, I had a pro celebrity tournament this past weekend. I got another one coming up.
Good. We have a nice gift for both of you. Thank you very much for being on the show. It's been our pleasure. It really has.
It's been our pleasure.
Please let us know how your relationship develops. We'd like to know, okay?
Okay.
All right, I tell you what, we're going to come right back with another couple. I hope they're just as happy as this one. We'll be right. All right, we're back. This time, let's meet a man who chose a date from our videotape library. He was raised in Ohio. He says he loves a challenge, and he's taking his time about getting married. Please welcome David Lawrence. Did I get the last name right?
Right.
Very good. Sit down here.
Thank you.
Why are you taking your time, David, about getting married?
Why
Just
not?
rush headlong into it.
Why not? You don't want to rush into anything. You want to have a little bit of fun first.
You said you like a challenge, right?
I think so, yes.
What kind of a challenge?
Well, I like a woman who's actually intimidating, I think is a good word. I just like someone who can put it to me intellectually, which may be cliche, but someone that is a challenge that way, and someone that's very pretty, and just go after him and see what happens.
Either on a par or above.
On or above, yeah.
Okay.
Just stretch a little bit, learn
Now that
something.
we know a little bit about you, based on David's preferences, he was shown videotapes and questionnaires of 3 women. Now, we're going to show you a portion of the tapes that he saw, and you in the home audience, and you here in the studio audience as well, watch very closely because we're going to ask you to pick the woman you think is best for David. But first, there was Joyce. Now, she was raised in Cleveland, and she's working on a master's degree, and she tells us about her hobby.
But when I lived in New York City, I dated 5 nights a week. It used to be a hobby. But I decided that I would really look to do more interesting things than just date. I like younger men because they're more accepting. They're more aware of the new role of women. They treat you more like you're an individual.
Next, there was Penny. Now, she was raised in Chicago, says she's a typical Gemini, and here's how she approaches men.
I think by crazy, I just mean I'm not afraid to talk to people. And I'm not really afraid of rejection, like going up and asking somebody to dance. If they say no, I say, what's wrong with you? You're lost. Goodbye.
And finally, you saw Sharon. Now, she's from Tennessee. She likes to travel. And here are some of her thoughts on the singles scene.
I got very tired of the club scene. It's fun sometimes. I enjoy it now and then, but not on a week-to-week basis or daily basis at all. I don't know. I find that so many people, I suppose for different reasons, are, well, they're lonely, and so they seek companionship. But at the same time, they're afraid of commitment because I think there's so much divorce. And
Now, David selected one of those women as his date. Before he tells us who he chose, let's show you all three again, okay? First, there was Joyce. Now, she's a 32-year-old educational consultant. And then there's Penny. She's a personnel manager, and she's 27. And finally, Sharon. She's 26 and works as a secretary. Okay, audience? It's time for your voting machines. Now, you've met David. You've heard a little about him. You've seen his choices. Who do you think is the best lady for David? In a little while, we'll find out who the audience chose for David, but first, let's find out who he chose, okay? Who did you select, David?
I picked Sharon.
Sharon, interesting. Okay. Now, on Love Connection, we get both sides of the story, so we ask our couples not to see each other after their date, and we keep them apart so that they'll be less inhibited about telling their story. Sharon is backstage now, so let's say hello to Sharon Doss. Hi, Sharon. I'm going to come back and talk to you in just a minute. Let me ask David something, okay? David, why did you choose Sharon?
I liked her Tennessee accent, and I thought she was very attractive, and I felt a certain amount of chemistry for her. And basically was the reason.
Okay. Now, Sharon, you'd never seen David before. What was your first impression of him?
He was a very nice guy. You know, he had a nice personality. He laughed a lot, good sense of humor.
What happened on the date, David?
We went to the beach, to a nice ocean restaurant.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay.
And I wanted to park along the road there. And I didn't want to go in the lot because I was too cheap to pay the valet, you know.
Sharon? You want to add something to that?
Oh, well, I mean, they had valet parking, and I thought we might as well take advantage of it.
Okay. Yeah. Why not? All right.
Anyway, we went.
So you did the valet parking anyway?
Oh, yeah, I had to go in and give the guy $1. We went in, and they said it'll be about you know. You got
doled out one heavy buck?
You gotta be sensible nowadays.
You went in, you had dinner?
Had dinner, yeah. She had lobster. I had a steak or something. And
excellent dinner.
Yeah, it was quite good.
Good dinner. Okay.
It was quite good.
What happened after? How much was it? How much was the dinner, by the way?
I don't know, around $50. She said she wanted. I wanted to get some wine. You know, just the type you drink with the guys that you smoke. But she said California wine makes me break out in a rage. You know, anyway, we talked. We had a good time in the restaurant, talked, and the rapport was there. And she told me a little bit about her background. I told her some of mine, tried to keep out the sordid parts. And we were impressed. We want to get to the Late Show and see a movie. Okay. Anyway, we found it lucky. We found another parking place. I didn't have to pay there either. And
we only walked 2 blocks that time.
$50 for dinner and eludes 3 parking attendants.
Exactly.
Sharon, how are things going at this point?
I'd say that's pretty much right. It was very cold in the theater, and I had worn a silk outfit that was, you know, I got kind of chilly, and David was nice enough to loan me his sweater, and I thought that was very nice.
Loaned him his sweater instead of his arm? Did he? Okay. How did your date end?
Well, I drove her home and found a parking place. It was kind of.
Did you have to pay for it?
No, didn't have to pay for it. I was 2 for 3, and walked her up to her apartment on the 2nd floor and said she was a nice lady and kissed her goodnight, missed her mouth, and hit her cheek. And, you do the best you can, and it was a nice date.
I'm kind of interested to see who the audience picked. You want to see?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look over here and see who they have picked for you. They picked Sharon. Now, if you take the audience's advice, we'll pick up the tab. We'll even give you some little extra maybe for parking.
Good. I would like that.
And you can take Sharon out again. Would you like that?
That would be fun.
Yeah. Sharon, how about you? Would
It's
you
up
like
to
to go
her,
out
though.
with David again?
Well, I like David as a person. I think he's a very nice guy. You know, it was a pleasant evening. I didn't feel the chemistry that David felt. I think we could be great friends, but I don't think that there is a romantic interest there.
Well, that's fair enough. Listen, honey, thank you for being on Love Connection. We have a nice gift
Thank
for
you.
you. Thank you for your candid responses, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Bye,
David?
David.
I'd like to thank you very much, too, and maybe you'll get fixed up again. Who knows? On a previous show, the studio audience selected a date for our next guest, and when we come back, we're going to find out what happened on that date. Stay with us. A while back, our next guest agreed to let our studio audience choose her date for her. Let's meet her again and find out what happened on that date, okay? She was raised in Wabash, Indiana, says she loves to spend money. Please welcome Carolyn Castillo. Carolyn? Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Tell me. Well, before we hear you about your date, what do you mean you like to spend money? What is that?
Well, doesn't every woman like to spend money?
Well, I guess everybody likes to spend money. What do you like to spend money on?
Fun things.
Like?
Artwork. Jewelry. Trips.
Yeah?
Yeah, big things. Big items.
Big stuff.
Big spend.
Now, the last time you were here, we showed the audience tapes of 3 men, and they chose Dennis, or you chose. Or no, they chose. That's right. They chose Dennis Berg as your date. And you and Dennis went out, right?
That's right.
Okay. How'd it go?
Well, it was great.
Well, before you tell me all about it, Dennis is backstage.
Yes.
Let's bring him on the television here, okay?
Okay.
Dennis, are you back there?
I sure am, Chuck.
How you doing?
Just great, thank you.
Good. Well, you're the gentleman our audience picked for Carolyn. What was your first impression of her?
Very good. I mean, very attractive lady. Just
pretty, isn't she?
Very nice, and appealed to me right away. It doesn't take me long. If I see someone that appeals to me, it clicks right away.
Good, good. Okay, now, Carolyn, spill the beans.
Okay.
What happened on the date?
All right, well, first of all, as I said, I wanted to create an atmosphere of total elegance and class and, you know, great date.
Really?
So I hired a limo, okay? So when he came to the door, the limo was there waiting for us. We get in the car, the driver takes off. We're trying not to spill the wine on each other, you know, and the first thing out of his mouth is, "I can't believe how much you look like my first wife."
Oh,
and I went,
sorry about that.
I said, you know, you could have gone all night without saying it. I didn't know if it was good, if it was bad, you know.
It was good.
Because I didn't know how to read that one, you know. It says, okay, moving right along, you know, let's have some more wine. Anyway, so we went down to the beach to a very elegant restaurant, had a wonderful meal. It was just very, Dennis is an excellent conversationalist.
I thought you were going to say he's an excellent eater.
I'm that too. I do that too.
That's a good, I know, I'm off on another world today.
Yes,
yeah, what happened then?
Oh, we ordered wine, and we just had a very, very nice time.
Nice.
And took the coast route home. Well, when we got to the door, when we got home, the chauffeur turned around and it, like in a cab, "Oh, that'll be a, you know, X number of dollars, lady." Well, I was really embarrassed. I really was. And I was angry because I wanted this to be very nice. So I said to Dennis, do you mind getting out of the car?
You made him get out of the car.
I made him get out of the car.
A big
And I let the chauffeur cut him off at the
dressed him
kneecap.
down.
Oh, no. I packed him up and put him away.
Cut him off.
Yeah, right.
Gee, and he was pretty strong.
Well, I was just very upset because I thought it was a very tacky end to an otherwise
So you got him straightened out then?
Yes, right.
How'd the date end now?
We went inside and we had Grand Marnier and sat and got comfortable, and I mean, I faded. He said, "I know you have a big drive ahead of you. I know it's a long way." So I said, "If you would like to crash here on my couch, that's fine." But I said, "I have to go to bed." So he says, "Oh, I appreciate it." He was very much of a gentleman. He says, "No, I can make it home. I'm fine." So that was the end of the evening. It was great.
I had other thoughts, but at least you offered me your couch. It could have been worse. You could have said, "Sleep in your car."
That's true, yeah. So you made it home. Now, I got to tell you, you guys sound like you had a wonderful time.
We really did.
Date.
She's terrific.
Yes.
Carolyn, since you were such a good sport and you let the audience choose your date for you, if you'd like to go out with Dennis again, we'd like to pick up the tab for another date. Would you like to do that?
Thank you. That'd be very nice.
Yeah, Dennis, is that okay with you?
That's just fine with me.
Why don't you come out and join us on stage, Dennis? All right, now I only have one instruction for you since we're picking up the tab for this. I feel like now you cannot go to sleep this next time.
Okay.
She didn't
You really
exactly go to
I
sleep.
tried.
She didn't go to sleep.
No, she tried to. I kept her up. But,
Kept slapping me.
This is a nice gift for both of you. And I thank you very much for being on Love Connection. Maybe we'll see you again, huh?
You will.
Yeah, well, listen, that's our show for today. We're going to be back tomorrow with more singles trying to make a love connection. I'm Chuck Woolery, and I hope to see you then. Bye-bye.
Some guests on Love Connection will receive one of the following. Jovan Musk. Drop for drop, Jovan Musk has brought together more men and women than any other fragrance in history. Try it today and see for yourself. Jovan Musk. Or a tote bag from Pan American World Airways. Across the country and around the world, serving 6 continents, 47 countries, and over 110 cities. And you can't beat the experience. Or a versatile, full-valued 106-channel public service scanner radio. Scan for the action with Regency. Or Uline Combo 19 Ice Maker with 2.1 cubic foot refrigerator. May produce 22 pounds of ice cubes daily using minimum energy. No drain needed. This is Rod Roddy speaking for Love Connection.